The United States is not at war with China. But across the Pentagon, one assumption increasingly shapes military planning: that a direct conflict is no longer unthinkable. In recent years, U.S. defense strategy, spending, and training have shifted toward preparing for a possible confrontation with China, especially in the Indo-Pacific region. So what exactly has changed? Why does it matter now? And what could happen next? This is Global Briefing 360. For decades after the Cold War, the U.S. military focused on terrorism, regional conflicts, and counterinsurgency operations in the Middle East. That focus has now changed. China has rapidly expanded its military capabilities across air, sea, space, cyber, and missile forces. Its navy is now the world's largest by number of ships. Its missile systems can reach U.S. bases across the Pacific, and its military exercises have become larger, more frequent, and more complex. At the same time, U.S. defense planning documents have increasingly identified China as the country's pacing challenge. That means China is now the benchmark against which U.S. military readiness is measured. This shift is visible in several ways. The U.S. has increased troop rotations and joint military exercises with allies like Japan, Australia, and the Philippines. New military infrastructure is being developed across the Pacific. And defense investments now prioritize long-range missiles, space resilience, cyber defense, and naval power. None of this means war is imminent, but it does signal a clear strategic pivot. At the center of U.S. concern is Taiwan. Taiwan is a self-governed island that China claims as its territory. The United States does not officially recognize Taiwan as an independent country, but it does support Taiwan's ability to defend itself. China has increased military pressure around Taiwan through air patrols, naval drills, and simulated blockade exercises. U.S. officials view these actions as part of a long-term strategy to change the status quo without triggering immediate conflict. For the United States, Taiwan matters for several reasons. Strategically, Taiwan sits along key shipping routes in the Indo-Pacific. Economically, it plays a central role in global semiconductor production. Politically, its future affects U.S. credibility with allies across Asia. Beyond Taiwan, the broader concern is deterrence. U.S. military planners believe that failing to prepare increases the risk of miscalculation. Preparation, in this view, is meant to signal capability, not intent. The goal is to prevent conflict by making the cost of aggression clear. Looking ahead, several outcomes are possible. One is continued competition without conflict. Military readiness remains high, while diplomacy and economic ties continue alongside it. Another possibility is crisis escalation. This could be driven by accidents, misjudgments, or political pressure on either side. That is why communication channels between U.S. and Chinese military leaders remain essential. A third outcome is deeper regional alignment. U.S. allies in Asia may strengthen defense cooperation, reshaping security dynamics across the Indo-Pacific. What most analysts consider least likely is a sudden, unplanned war. Any major conflict would carry enormous military, economic, and global consequences. That reality acts as a powerful restraint. U.S. military preparation does not mean conflict is inevitable. It reflects a changing balance of power in a region that now shapes global stability. Understanding these preparations helps explain why decisions made thousands of miles away can have worldwide impact. This is Global Briefing 360. Subscribe for clear, neutral explanations of the world's most important events, without the noise.